Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to have our online recording of the lesson, which will make us able to understand how can we start our online lesson teachings. So for AS girls, there is a topic buffer stock policy which was left over in our class session. So right now I'm going to tell you about what is the policy of the government whenever they found there is price instability of the necessities. For example, wheat prices are surging up, and then government will adopt a policy of buffer stock. Now here, what is the meaning of buffer? Buffer stock means government will keep the surplus of the crop during the favorable weather years, and that surplus will be used to maintain or stabilize the prices when there is unfavorable weather condition and we have less crops available. All right, so when less supply of crop is available, that's that stock which was kept by the government during the better and favorable weather condition, that stock will be brought into the market to stabilize the prices of the necessities. This is the main purpose. Here I have some of the points why government is using these buffer stocks. I have some notes over here. The buffer stock policy is a government intervention strategy aimed at stabilizing prices and ensuring a steady supply of essential commodities. Under this policy, the government purchases and stores the commodities during the periods of surplus production or low demand, creating a buffer stock. This stock is then released into the market during the periods of scarcity or high demand, thereby regulating prices and preventing fluctuations. Actually, in this topic of buffer stock, government is using both maximum and minimum pricing policy in different time periods to stabilize the prices of the buffer or the commodities which are the necessities and they are weather dependent. Now, what are the objectives of buffer stock? Price stabilization, ensuring steady supply, supporting farmers, producers, maintaining strategic reserves. So, how buffer stock policy works? It depends. Identification of essential commodities, that is, food grains, pulses, which are having higher prices in the market, procurement of commodities during surplus period. So what do we mean by procurement? That means government is sourcing the product wherever it is available and then it is going to stock it for the upcoming years that might have um, food shortage during those years due to unfavorable weather conditions. Storage in government warehouses, release into the market during the scarcity or high demand, monitoring and adjustment of prices. What are the essay questions? These are written at the end. Explain the buffer stock policy as a tool of price stabilization in an economy and how does it benefit consumers and producers. It carries 8 marks. Assess the role of buffer stock in ensuring food security in a country. What are the challenges faced by the government in implementing this policy? Government definitely has to face the problem of source of this crop during the surplus years. And government is facing the problem of what? How to store it, because after some times there can be some damage, a natural damage to these crops which are being stored by the government. So government will also be incurring the extra cost of storing the products. All right, and it has to arrange the large warehouses in order to store these commodities according to the food requirements that it should be maintained its storage. Analyze the impact of buffer stock policy on the supply chain or essential commodities. How does it affect the overall economic stability? Definitely, when essentials prices, they are not fluctuating too much, they are not going to surge up. So it will be the government success, and ultimately government will be having the political objectives to gain after this buffer stock policy, that they will be able to win the upcoming elections. So mainly what the governments are performing, they want to show their economic performance according to their political aims, that they want to remain into the government authorities. So that's only possible when the cost of living of people is not increasing over the period of time. That's why government is also having the political objectives along with the economic goals. So compare and contrast the buffer stock policy with other policy control mechanisms such as price ceiling and floors. Price ceiling, that means we are having maximum prices, and price flooring means we are having the minimum prices in the market. So both are used in the buffer stock policy. Which policy is more effective in achieving its objectives? Evaluate the effectiveness of buffer stock policy in achieving its objectives. What are the potential limitations and criticism of this policy? At the end, we are having the marking scheme of 20 marks question, 8 marks question, or 12 marks question can be adjusted their marks according to their Cambridge evaluation objectives, like knowledge and understanding, and then analysis, and then evaluation. So these are the three objectives of Cambridge International Examination. So now whatever I have written in this note, I am going to explain it now. Buffer stock policy, this is one of the microeconomic tools of the government intervention in the mixed economy. When there is a role of government in the economy, it is no more free market economy, it will become a mixed economy. We know that the agricultural prices are subject to fluctuations due to uncertain weather conditions. When the weather is favorable, a bumper crop by the farmers will increase the market supply of the crop, which will result into decrease in its market price. When farmers are able, this is a dilemma of farmers of any country they are facing. When they produce more quantity of a crop, their income will decrease as the demand of their crops are inelastic. So inelastic demand will have decrease in the total revenue of the sellers when prices are falling. And when they are facing less crop production, so prices will increase, and due to inelastic demand they will be able to increase their income or revenue. So the farmer's income is also subject to fluctuations. It depends upon their production levels. When they produce too much, prices will decrease. When they produce less, prices will increase, and vice versa. During unfavorable weather conditions and demoted farmers, there is a shortage of the crops, which will put pressure in the market price of the crop to rise. Definitely, when there is less production, so in that way, farmers will not be able to supply too much, so price of the product will increase. Therefore, the government will use this buffer stock policy to stabilize the prices of a necessity crop. For example, wheat for the consumers and producers, both of them. During the bumper crop year, the government will stock the surplus quantity into the national warehouses. It can be it in case of unfavorable weather conditions, the government will bring back that stock to keep the price level stabilized. Now I will draw the diagram to further explain. Now look here in this diagram, I have mentioned two things. Here government is keeping the price at a stable level. Where it is the stable price? This is going to be the stable price level. Government does not want to keep the price level up during unfavorable production of the crop, or it has to decrease the price during favorable weather conditions. Now you can find over here what is going to happen in year 1. This is a fixed supply, perfectly inelastic supply of the product, that is Q2 level of output is produced. Demand of the crop or wheat in our case study, that is inelastic, it is downward sloping. So when the market demand D and supply in year 1, they make an equilibrium at this point E1. You can see this is E1. So here the price will be P2 in the market. It is going down because they have produced too much, so more than the consumers demand. So government, so market price is P2, which is benefiting actually the consumers, not the producers, because producer income will decrease due to inelastic demand. What government does, government will keep the price at this stable level. So at this price, you can find the market equilibrium is here. This is the main point where the market equilibrium is present. So at this price, demand is Q1 only. And we find this surplus, which I have shown over here. The surplus stock is available at this stable price level. So that stock will be stored by the government warehouses. Okay. So this is the source of stock which will be kept by the government, and that stock is kept in the warehouses. So actually when price was P2, government is using the minimum pricing policy and will keep the price at the stable level by increasing it. Okay. So during the unfavorable weather condition, like in year 2, we have red supply line, which is also perfectly inelastic. Now, this red supply line is making the market equilibrium at this point. So, where price will go up to P3. Now, the producers are benefited in the form of their higher incomes because demand is inelastic, prices have increased. So, the producers or farmers will be very happy and their income level will increase. But the government is not allowing this high price because it is damaging the consumer's real income. Okay, their real income is decreasing as the necessity prices are increasing. So the cost of living of the people of the country, actually those who are the lower income groups or middle income, they will be facing fall in their real incomes due to this increase in price. So what government does, government will decrease the price at again the stable price level and bring back that stock which was kept in the warehouses to fulfill this gap because it's stable at its stable price level. Demand is at Q1 but supply is Q3. There is going to be shortage of the product, less is available in the market, so government will use this buffer stock to stabilize the price at this level. So mainly this is the buffer stock which is actually stabilizing the prices of the necessities by using the government price regulation tools, both maximum and minimum prices. When prices are going down, the government will use the minimum prices to increase at the stable level, and when prices are increasing to P3, so government will use the maximum pricing policy at the stable price level, and it will be stabilizing the prices. So we know that PED of wheat is inelastic. The whole explanation which I did by using the diagram that is written in the down paragraph. So price elastic demand of wheat is inelastic as it is a necessity. The government has to set a stable price of wheat in the market. At the stable price, there is Q1 demand of the wheat which is supplied in the market. During year 1, there is a bumper crop, and year supply is as year 1 is going to cause the price to go down at P2. But the government did not allow the price to fall. The government purchased the surplus stock of Q2 minus Q1 and stored it in the warehouses and kept the price of wheat stable in the market. During the year 2, there was less yield of wheat and it was causing the price to increase to P3, but the government had bought the price, the previous buffer stock, government had brought back the previous buffer stock into the market to stabilize the price of the wheat. Now we can better understand how buffer stock policy of the government will stabilize the price of the product which is a necessity in the market. It will not allow the price to fluctuate. So this is all about our buffer stock policy lesson. That was the last topic of our unit 3, that is government's intervention in the microeconomy. So today we completed our microeconomic section of AS girls as well. In the boys section, we have already completed their microeconomics, and we started macro lessons. So this is our end of microeconomics part of our syllabus. So by tomorrow we will be starting the macroeconomics. So any question you will be able to face, any problem you can raise question in our discussion call, where we will be having a discussion platform used by the school policy. So in that panel we will be discussing the questions, and whatever the things you are unable to understand, we will be explaining them to each and every student. So thank you very much. That is the today's lesson. You can find the screenshots of the questions at the end, and you can also answer them and send me via the school portal, and then I will be marking them. These are the few questions related to the buffer stock policy, and I have also written my question. You will also find it. So that's all about our today's lesson of the buffer stock. Okay, I have also mentioned a question over here, that is, explain whether buffer stock policy of the government is the best option to stabilize the prices of a necessity. So this can be one of the simplest form of the question related to buffer stock. You have to answer it keeping it in mind what are the Cambridge objectives, like knowledge and understanding, analysis, and then evaluation. Because now Cambridge is asking the student to evaluate their answer even in the 8 marks question of explanation. Okay, that's all for today. See you in the next lesson. Thank you.